Housing is a challenge for people across the metro.
In Maple Grove, there's some back and forth over one church's plan to put a 12-unit tiny home village on their property. Some of the neighbors don't want it, but the city says their hands are tied. Fox 9's Rob Olson joining us now from Roseville. And Rob, that's where another church tried a similar idea. So what have you got?
Well, they say it's been very successful here. It's a pretty small village of 3 tiny homes, one of them filled by a volunteer here. You know, they started working with the city of Roseville before this became a state law governed by state statute. Last year, there's another church in St. Paul doing it, and they all work with a company called, or a nonprofit called Settled, which works with churches on this concept. That group is now working with the church in Maple Grove, where neighbors have expressed some understandable concerns and opposition. But here they say those concerns were quickly melted away.
It's been fantastic. It's been transformational.
Their first tiny home came in 2022 and was soon followed by a second, now housing 2 people who've been considered chronically homeless on the grounds of Prince of Peace Lutheran in Roseville.
What we weren't prepared for was how much it's transformed the church.
Pastor Peter Christ's church is now one of 2 in the Twin Cities, the other being in St. Paul, that have these, called sacred settlements. They admit it's a very small step in a massive crisis, but they believe it's part of their calling.
I'm hoping to inspire others and other communities to do this very thing, because we need more churches. There's only so many tiny houses we can put on our property.
It is this exact model that the Church of the Open Door in Maple Grove is now planning to follow. 12 tiny homes they hope to open in the summer of 2026. But neighbors there have mounted staunch opposition called No Settlement Maple Grove, clearly stating their concerns for security and quality of life for the neighborhood and the welfare and sustainability of life for those being housed.
Can you hear me?
No, we can.
There we go.
And they took their concerns to the city council in December, who told them it is not in the city's authority.
State law sets the rules for this. There's nothing the city can do.
The new state law that allows church microhouses took effect last year, and it does spell out the requirements for safety and security, including that at least 1/3 of the homes be occupied by volunteers, what churches call intentional neighbors. Back in Roseville, Pastor Christ understands the concerns. He says he had them too.
My hope is that people would step back and say, here's a great opportunity to do something deeply impactful for a segment of our population that people have ignored and continue to kind of look the other way for too long.
Now, the planning continues up in Maple Grove, but so does the opposition group there. They tell me that they are asking the church for a pause in that planning so that they can work with them more directly to address some of the concerns that they have about how the program there will work and what it will do and will not do before they move forward. But again, they plan to have that open in the summer of next year. Live in Roseville, Rob Olson, Fox 9.